Pizzas all the way, playing proper football, the Chef United way. Ale, 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 ale.
Well, transfer deadline day, and it's Hal here with you. Now, you know me, I don't like to waffle too much, don't like to, I get bored pretty easily, so I like just to sort of stick to the facts. So I'm going to kind of dive in with what we know so far with transfers, a bit of a transfer summary. I mean, we all kind of want Tanganga, and, the transfer deadline hasn't happened at the time that I'm doing this. So, Tanganga very much still one that I'm hoping for. But Danny Hall has said, that probably isn't going to happen. And Danny, good friend of ours, good friend of the channel, good friend of mine, but does like to pour a bit of truth, hot water on or cold water on stories that we get excited about. Jimmy Dunn, Harry Darling, Rob Holding, all linked to wingers for apparently £2 million, which we'll get to. The outs, Louis Marsh has committed his long-term future to Sheffield United, a new 3.5-year deal, but he's going to spend the second half of the season continuing his development on loan at Fleetwood Town. Owen Hampson as well has signed for Scottish Championship side Dunfermline Athletic on loan for the remainder of the season. Birmingham City hoping to complete a move for Curtis Havenhand, the under-21 striker, before the deadline. There's talk of John Egan to Hull. I mean, what do you think of that? Let me know just anything that you think and that you're excited about or not excited about with the transfer in the comments. Who would you like to see? Scottish Border Blade Connor Cody. Be fun to have him back. Would be an excellent choice for me. Would fit in seamlessly after his loan deal has just fallen through. If they got Tanganga from Millwall, that would be a huge signing. He's a colossal defender, Walter says he is. He would be a statement signing. But I think the money they want, I mean, rumoured like 8 million, that's probably a deal you get done if Sheffield United get promotion. Egan to Hull is a great move, Gavin. I mean, Hull are doing some business. Now, the Blades have been linked with Jefferson Justo, I hope I'm going to pronounce this correctly, Caceres Chavez. He is apparently like a football manager player's dream. Does Chris Wilder know about this? Has anyone told Chris? This seems like a very unusual deal for Sheffield United. A Peruvian, apparently, according again to Danny Hall, AI has been used to source these two wingers, and he is one of them. So let's talk about him, because we might sign him. Jefferson, what a great name. 22, a left winger, right-footed, so an inverted winger. Woof. Played at, and I love this, FBC Melgar. I looked up what the FBC stands for. It literally stands for Football Club. But it's football is one word, so I don't know why they've done that. They currently sit 14th in Liga Uno. Listen to that. I mean, I'm basically, at this point, I'm basically fluent in Spanish. Now, I joke about that, but I actually do speak a little bit of Spanish, and I have been in conversation with a Peruvian journalist who is, as we speak, validating this story. And I have said, hablo un poco de español, pero no puedo escribir muy bien. Entonces, are you able to tell me anything about him? And he sort of said, and you can translate this yourself, estoy investigando, right? So he's investigating sobre si es cierta su contracción, to see if this, is actually true. So we shall see if there is any truth in it. But let's imagine there is. Caceres made 14 goal contributions last season. He's about 5'7", a great height for a man. More of this, please. He has played as a left winger 30 times in his career with 8 goals and 6 assists. That's exciting. He's played down the middle as an attacking midfielder 21 times, 1 goal, 1 assist. So it seems like the left is where the goals and the assists come from. He's also played as a centre forward 5 times and actually scored twice. Not a bad return. And he has played on the right as a right footer 3 times. But the inverted wingers, that seems to be the way that Sheffield United are going, because there was some thinking about, if we brought in a lot of defenders, we were certainly linked with a lot, that we could even change the formation at times. Harry Clark can play on the right side of a 3. And with Jimmy Dunn, a player that we were linked with, also being able to play there were question marks over that. But anyway, looks like we're not going that way. And he has played, Jefferson, for Football Club FBC, we know that now. Melgar, 39 times, 8 goals, 7 assists. Before that, Deportivo Binacional, 22 appearances, 4 goals, 2 assists. He has represented Peru under 23s, the winger who hails from Lima. His main attributes from clips and articles I found appear to be his finishing, his crossing, lovely first touch, good passing range. He's very pacey, but also I saw some clips of aggression, and maybe we need that. Now, the other winger we've been linked with, thanks to AI, I was actually hoping that Danny had spelled that wrong, and he was, rather than AI, it was like Al or Hal. Maybe it'd be me. No one ever thanks me for anything. Nigerian Christian Nachukwu, who plays for, and I'm going to struggle with this, I'll do my best, Botev Plovdiv in Bulgaria. If you're from Bulgaria and you're watching this, please. Christian Nachukwu is also how I hope it is pronounced. Nachukwu joined the Bulgarian club, which I'm just going to call them from now on, in February of 2024. This is interesting. He's also a left winger. We're going to bring in 2 left wingers who can play on the right. He's 19 years old, 18 appearances, 3 goals, 2 assists. This season got 5 yellow cards. Good lad. Leave a few on him. I don't know which one to be more excited about of the 2, because I'll be honest, I've watched quite a bit of both of them in terms of clips, and Nachukwu looks really exciting, but you've got to take into account that I don't know a lot about the level that he's playing at. I don't know how high the standard is in Bulgaria compared with Peru. 18 appearances, 3 goals, 2 assists this season. As I mentioned, he's been in the starting 11 79% of the time. I think it was 15 out of 18 opportunities that he had to play, and he played in 15 of those. In total for the club, since joining Plovdiv, 33 appearances, 5 goals, 3 assists. Now, he is both-footed. I saw some clips of him using both with aplomb, scoring with both. I saw a lovely clip of him just getting down the byline with the left, crossing it in, getting into dangerous areas from out wide, moving into the middle with that right, having shots. He's listed on different websites as different heights, so I'm not actually sure. He's listed as 5'6" on some sites, a great height for a man. More of this, please. And 5'10" on Wikipedia. So, no, don't want that one. I've been able to find out very little, but one article I had translated, not by me, but by Google, spoke of his blistering pace, his ball control, his dribbling, and his technique. Now, you might be thinking, work permits, how can we sign these players? Well, here's a summary of the new rules since Brexit, based on Reuters article and a few other articles. The Elite Significant Contribution, ESC, as you're going to hear me refer to it. So the Football Association, the FA, have introduced a new pathway for clubs to sign overseas players who wouldn't have previously met the traditional governing body endorsement points required, known as GBE. This is called the ESC route. Clubs are allotted a certain number of ESC slots per season, depending on the league they play in, and the amount of playing time given to England qualified players, EQP. Well, that's quite a few for Sheffield United. These slots allow them to sign players who are deemed to make a significant contribution to the club and the league, even if they don't have enough international caps or other points. And these 2 players that I've mentioned do not have enough international caps. Under the previous rules, they just simply wouldn't get a work permit. But this change aims to help English clubs compete for global talent. Brighton have used this to some incredible effect. Especially this is for young players who might not have accumulated enough international experience and international points. It also encourages clubs to develop and play homegrown talent. Now, an ESC slot allocation, Premier League and Championship, get between 2 to 4 slots, depending on EQP playing time. But these are limited slots. The number of ESC slots is limited. So you need to use them strategically. You need to use them wisely. And the Football Association still needs to approve players signed through this route, ensuring they meet the significant contribution criteria. And that's why I'm interested that we're linked with 2 players who play in the same position, because they've got to provide a significant contribution. But this is a potential pathway. It's a potential opportunity. This new ruling could provide a way for Caceres and Nachukwu to join an EFL Championship side. In this case, Den Blades. Even without senior international caps, it would be up to Sheffield United to assess whether they believe the players have potential to make a significant contribution, and if they're willing to use, as in we, the club, one of the ESC slots. While the ESC route offers a new opportunity, it's a very complex way of doing things. The club needs to work closely with immigration lawyers and football agents to navigate the regulations and make the application successful. So we're hearing that particularly Caceres has already had his medical, but you don't know if this sort of deal would want to be done on deadline day, because it does sound confusing, and it sounds like there's quite a lot that needs to be done. So the window closing as it does at I want to say 11, although time zones are not my friend. So Chris has said Red Early's passed his medical. That is what the rumor is saying. Anthony says there are loads of Blades fans in Peru. Okay, right. I read that with a straight face to begin with. We do need a winger. What would happen to Jezrin Raksaki? I mean, if we're maybe going to loan in another defender, do you cancel one of the loans? Especially if you're bringing in, more wingers. How are we signing foreign wingers? 2 words we aren't used to. I know it really is words we are absolutely not used to. Anthony says, would love 2 centre-backs. We would only need something to happen to one of our centre-backs and be back where we are now. Doesn't sound like these 2 lads I've mentioned can play centre-back, but I am going to get to centre-back next. What a brilliant transfer window this will be if we get them 3 across the line. Now, I think the other of the 3, Jason talking about 3 here. So I've talking about Caceres. I've spoken a little bit about Nachukwu. Again, Nachukwu is I really hope how it's pronounced. But I'm going to move on to centre-backs. Now, I'm just going to finish going through some of the comments, because Tanganga is, of course, I think number 1 for all of us, but reported 8 million. I mentioned that earlier. Wayne has said it as well. You say it's a bargain. I don't know if the owners currently, the new owners, Stephen Rosen, Helmay El Tuki, have that kind of money. We just don't know. He is a Prem player all day long. I was amazed he dropped down to the Championship. I spoke about it. If you haven't watched it yet, my interview with Benjamin Bloom, I spoke about Tanganga because I really rate him. I thought he played really well. That wire is really annoying me. I thought he played really well against us. Oh, I've made it worse. 13 Buchanan, hopeful Prem player. Tanganga has already played there. I agree with you. And you know what? I think centre-back, a huge area that needed to be focused on. The transfer window does shut at 11. So here's what I thought about this. The issue was not actually up front, it's creating chances. So if I had a choice about, like, I could spend a huge amount of money on one or the other, I would have gone Tanganga. He really is, I think, that good. 3 million for Dunn, 2 million for wingers. Bin them and bring in Tanganga. Strikers always a premium. That's the difference. You do pay more for strikers. Humphreys, Chris Humphreys? Is that who we're talking about? We don't need strikers; it's defenders we need. So other people agreeing with me on this, but we've got the striker now. Now these guys that I've mentioned before are wingers. I'd rather Tanganga than Holding. Alessandro has read my mind. We're going on to Holding. I still like the Jimmy Dunn links, but 3 million is excessive, especially with his contract running out. I mean, I know they've got an option for another year, but 2 wingers would be exciting. Alessandro would. I'm with you on that. Tanganga, Dunn, Holding. That's my list of the 3 defenders if I was forced to actually put them in a 3. Signing Holding means one of the loan lads drops out of the squad. Yes, my guess is Gilchrist. Interesting. There was some talk about potentially seeing him go to another club or go back. Nick, doing bits. Make sure you like the video, ladies and gentlemen. See, I can keep up. Cameron, that's what I meant when I said Chris. I am an idiot and now I hate myself. So Jimmy Dunn. Dunn is 27. He'll be 28 in October. He is one that we've been linked with, 6'3". Some of the heat maps similar to what we get from the old days, Chris Basham. But Jimmy Dunn, the thing I've got concerns about with him, if we do up the bid and go in for him, many are saying we've moved on from him, but just in case, he's had a serious ankle injury, a knee injury, and a shoulder injury. That shoulder injury kept him out for 65 days. That ankle injury, 73 days. But QPR fans that I've spoken to absolutely rave about Jimmy Dunn. So I am not against this one at all. Can play right back. In fact, in his career, 35 times he's played at right back, 193 times as a centre-back. Areas of strength, good in the air, marking, tackling, determined. He's aggressive. He's very brave. Good anticipation. He's strong. And apparently excellent positioning. With Tanganga, Danny Hall reporting Millwall stood firm and demanded big money for the former Tottenham Hotspur man, leading United to move for Rob Holding. Get on the treatment table. It could be treatment table FC. We've had too many injuries this season. I don't know if Rob Holding is the answer. But who is he and why has he cost so much in his career? He's had a CV that includes Arsenal and Crystal Palace. So why are some fans down on Rob Holding? Well, Robert Samuel Holding is 29. He'll be 30 on the 20th of September. if he's not careful. He is 6'2" tall. I thought he was taller than that, but that's what the internet told me. He has 5 caps for England under 21. He's played as a centre-back 195 times, actually scored 7 goals from centre-back. He can also play at right-back, which at the moment seems to be a Chris Wilder prerequisite. He's played at left-back as well. Funny thing, when he played at left-back 6 times, he scored 2 goals. Famously a hard worker, good anticipation. He's apparently brave. Arsenal fans have told me that he is a proper team player, good attitude, a popular guy in the dressing room. And, Wilder likes that kind of thing. Aerially dominant, a right-footed defender, but he has had injuries and not played much football of late. If we go back to where it all began, he was born in Stalybridge. He began his career with the Lancashire club Bolton Wanderers. He joined their academy in 2003. He was just 7. He was part of the academy for the next 11 years. Then he experienced time on loan at Bury in League Two, making his professional debut for them on the 3rd of April 2015. Holding entered the game in the 79th minute as a sub, and they beat Cambridge 2-0. But that was the only time he played for Bury. However, David Lee, the former Bolton player, winger, Bolton under-23 manager, said he was always a quiet lad in the academy, just came in, did his job, enjoyed it and worked hard. And Bolton saw enough, even after that short spell at Bury, but from those 11 years he was with the club, to give him a professional deal. He made his Bolton debut on the 11th of August 2015. They were a championship club. And by then his debut, well, he was a starter in a 1-0 home defeat in the League Cup to Burton, but he actually had a great championship season for Wanderers. He was actually voted as Bolton Wanderers Player of the Year for the 15-16 season. The fans loved him at the Reebok, where he made 30 appearances and scored 1 goal in his only season there. That was in a 3-1 win, that 1 goal against MK Dons. It was a case after that of, such an impressive season, London calling, and Rob Holding moved to North London for £2 million on the 22nd of July 2016, thrown in immediately into the deep end for Arsenal. Injuries to Per Mertesacker and Paulista saw Holding make his Gunners debut against Liverpool in the opening Premier League game. And you know what? It all actually started pretty well. A successful time with his early performances. Arsenal then manager Arsene Wenger said famously in a post-match press conference after he played really well against Leicester, "No one speaks about the performance of Rob Holding. You should be happy. He is English, 20 years old. I am sorry he didn't cost £55 million, so he can't be good." Always good for a quote. In the final 2 months of his first season, Holding became a regular member of Arsenal's starting lineup, the team winning all 6 of the matches that he played in towards the end of the season. By the end of that first season, he'd made 18 total appearances for Arsenal, half of which were the Premier League. He also featured in 1 Champions League game to cap off his great first season. It was a surprise going from Bolton and playing that many games. He started in the 2017 FA Cup final, and Arsenal beat Chelsea. Had a decent second season, playing 26 times, even better. Third season, not so good. This is where the injury started. He suffered a ruptured ACL in his left knee. But again, he was playing big games. He was playing against Manchester United. It required surgery. It ruled him out for the rest of the season. Fourth season, played just 18 games, a lot of that behind closed doors in that COVID season. Fifth season, he won his second Community Shield to kick off with Arsenal a decent start to the season. He played 39 times in all competitions. 30 were Premier League matches. In January 2021, his return to being a regular starter was rewarded. He signed a 2.5-year deal. In the same month, he made his 100th Arsenal appearance. But the Gunners finished 8th in the Premier League. They did reach the Europa League semi-finals. His final Arsenal season after that made just 15 appearances, and then he would go to Crystal Palace on the 1st September 2023. Holding signed for a reported £4 million. So we're talking like $6 million he's cost in his career. 3-year deal. It's been a disaster for Holding. Palace have only played Holding once in the League Cup, 26th of September 2023. Although he played a full 3-0 defeat, he was part of that. He has yet to endure a win for Palace, yet to feature again. His last professional game was then. So therefore, we're talking 16 months out of the game. He's made just a few Premier League appearances, but for Palace, I think it's 1, maybe 2. It doesn't matter. It's not many, but the injuries, this is what we're talking about, right? If I go back through these injuries, he has had a hamstring injury, a serious knee injury, a cruciate ligament tear. I mean, that's awful. 270 days. That's well over a season that he missed there. So big concerns around Holding. Would it be a loan? Would it be a signing? Can't see Holding being a loan unless we send one of Alfie or Jezren Raksaki back, says Paul, because of course you've got the 5 loans that you can have in the match day lineup. You can have more, but someone's going to miss out in actually playing, and that's a big question. So do you actually do that, or will it be a deal? I think Palace want to get rid of Rob Holding, so maybe something can be done. Danny Hall said these two wingers coming in ain't development players or first team ready, so why are they coming in? Scott, from what I've seen, I don't think these two are ready, and I'm really interested in that because of what I shared with you about the current work permit situation. Like I say, might not be the case. I'm just going to quickly check. No update from my Peruvian friend Franz. He's not been able to tell me if it's 100% legit. What happened to Robbo's armband if he drops to the bench? It goes to someone else. The question is, who? In fact, let me know in the comments, who do you think Robbo gives his armband to? Because, of course, our blaster, not involved at the moment. Billy Grant says Tanganga all day long. I would absolutely love it. Brick says Holding too many injuries. Now, of course, he might not have another injury for the rest of his career. And, at the start of the season, if I'd said to you, we were going to sign a player who's got over 100 appearances in the Premier League, has won the FA Cup and is still in his 20s, you'd probably go, oh, okay, sounds good. Holding is fit and ready to go, says Scott. He's played 4 times with the under-23s for 90 minutes. He's just fallen out with the boss. Danny Hall reporting we're pushing to make Holding a permanent deal. Now, that, of course, makes a lot more sense. A permanent deal so we don't take up any breathe of the existing loan spots, and we keep the players we currently have on loan. I think we'll need more, not less players in the big run in. Speaking of Holding, White Van Man Pam says sick baller, and I'm sorry I read that out. Armband would go to Vinny, says Anthony. I feel like that's a good place to close. Thank you very much for watching. It's always a pleasure. Really enjoy doing these. Let's see what happens when it closes at 11 p.m.
Ollie, ollie, ollie.